Hi, guys. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. I am Melinda Fargas, and I have a lot to share with you tonight. First, this is a new platform. I am using a green screen because I am sitting with my foot elevated. Last Monday night, when I had just gotten home from California, I didn't know I had a broken foot. So this week, it's all different. It's okay. I certainly am glad that I was not in California this week, though, with all of the rain that is coming. It's called the Atmospheric Pineapple Express. And as of noon today, it had already dumped more than 5 inches in downtown LA in 10 hours. Mom and I were watching updates on it this afternoon, and Rialto was even there. Rialto is a very small city, but it's where I went to school at. And even in Rialto, they said it made the news because they were getting 2.3 inches of rain per hour. I don't even know that our infrastructure could take that, but it's causing mudslides. It's causing boulders to slip and come down on the roads. Just lots and lots of issues. If it continues as badly as it started, they fear catastrophic issues. California have lots of it's called the wash. It's just they're narrow concrete areas. I know you've seen them on movies, but it's where water flows into when it exceeds what little bit of green there is to soak up there. At any rate, I saw washes today that were full and overflowing. Some crazy kids who were in them in kayaks. So lots of issues. In Rialto, getting that much rain, I fear that that Evans house will sustain some flooding. They had already had sandbags by the back doors where the patio. It's all pavement, and so when it gets a lot of rain, it just runs from the top of the patio down to the lower level, and the lower level are where the doorways are. Of course, it's a really, really old house, so I didn't get to tell you about it last week, but I'm going to stop and tell you now. In place of this bad weather, last week when I arrived, we're all sitting around, and California welcomed me with my very own earthquake, a 4.2, and it was 4 miles away. So it was really felt there. Well, keep an eye out if you have friends, family in California, all the way up the coast, because there are high wave surges all the way up the Pacific coast, and that's pretty scary. Then I saw inclement weather continuing to pound in Puerto Vallarta, and my friend Becky has been on before, and she's going to leave Puerto Vallarta. She's going to move. She's going to move back to the States. They've been down there a long time, so I foresee a trip to Puerto Vallarta in my future so that I can go see it again after many years while I know some people down there. And Becky, if you and Rick are watching, I will work on that after my foot heals and to make sure we don't have to do any surgery or anything. Okay, then I put all of some of the highlights on the board behind me. The new drivable ports that we are going to have are a new ship, is not a brand new ship, but a new to us ship is going to come to Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to be Norwegian Cruise Line. And this week, Princess Cruise Line released its disappointment in Yorktown, Virginia, that they are not going to allow them to port there, to make that a home port. It's not too big of a deal because they're just going to go 17 miles south to Norfolk, Virginia, and they're going to port from there. And it will be a Princess ship that we should have pretty much year round. That's awesome because Norfolk is a closer drive than Charleston. Okay. And then, have you seen the news of what's going on in Paris? Here is a brand new prime minister, and he has the task of, preparing the city for the Olympics and all the things that come with that. And right now there are tractors. I don't mean little tractors. I mean big tractors circling Paris. And they have blocked roadways. They have blocked freeways. But what was hilarious and what I think is going to take the longest to fix is they have come and dumped barnyard trash into the streets, and they've packed it up against the walls, which are, many of them are just iron gates near all of the public buildings. It is a disaster. I bet it stinks to high heaven. Some of them said that there were animal carcasses included in some of that waste that is there to try to get the prime minister to move quickly. One of the stories that I heard, though, is interesting. The embargo from the Russian-Ukraine war has really hurt the farmers in France because they sold so much wine to Russia. And with the embargo of them not being able to sell it, and prices going down in other areas of the world, France doesn't feel that their prime minister is doing a good job in protecting them. And that's why they're circling around. It really, I didn't know there was that much farming that went on in the area. But I mean, in one picture, I counted 46 tractors that were blocking double lanes. That's pretty serious. I don't know what you do with that, because farmers are some stubborn people, or can be some stubborn people. And I come from a line of farmers, so I can say that. In other news is a lot of cruise stuff has gone on. Like, if you haven't seen, one of the biggest attractions in the Bahamas that Royal Caribbean has is, Coco Cay, because there's so much to do there. Well, they touted, when it was built, that it was like $2.7 million to build Coco Cay. And they're even talking about, with some of the bad news reports of the security level going to Nassau, of skipping Nassau completely and just going to their private island and coming back, wondering if that would make people feel safer. Well, Carnival this week came out with their plans for Celebration Key. Celebration Key is going to be about 15 miles from Nassau on its own private island. It's going to boast the largest pool in all of the Caribbean. From the photos, and I hope that they release some that we can share, from the photos that I saw, mock-up drawings, it was like the beach, and then a green grassy area, then a pool, oddly shaped pool all the way down the beach with cabanas and food eateries. We'll have swim-up pool bars. It's gonna give it a run for its money. And Carnival says it'll be ready by summer of 25. So I agree. Cruise prices have really, really increased. One of my favorite groups from GKN we always find a deal around 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 for two people for the 5 day out of Charleston, 5 night out of Charleston. Right now, that 5 night, even in an ocean view room, oh, and those are balcony prices, in an ocean view room right now, the total 1,700. And I'm looking at some of the other departures saying, if you went out of Baltimore, we can't do it at the end of May, but if you could wait a little bit longer, in July, they're going to start sailings out of Baltimore. Baltimore is a little closer to drive than Charleston is, and there's a 7-day sailing for about the same price. So don't always go with just what, or let me rephrase that. Be flexible, because sometimes they're better values with some flexibility, meaning you could get a 7-day cruise for about the same price as a 5-day. Just one opportunity. Then a small ship went aground in New Zealand. It was about 80 miles from Milford Sound, and we can remember going into Milford Sound, but the small ship I don't know what the captain was doing, but it ran up on a sandbar. The only thing that I saw were pictures of it being stranded, and that the people were being taken off of the ship. The captain called Mayday, and they were taken from the ship. It was a small line, a European company. So that was what that one was. Then the Red Sea. The Red Sea is continuing to have problems. Now there are 7 cruise lines, 12 ships that have completely altered their itinerary. MSC, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Silver Sea, they're all removing their ships from the area completely. And what I'm concerned about is these world cruises that Holland American have and that Royal Caribbean, that just left a few weeks ago. To get to that area, you've got to cross the Red Sea, or it's like another 1,800 nautical miles to go around the end of South America to end up on the other side. So we'll see where this goes, but the tension's really, really turned up. I'm anxious to see how it progresses. And then let's see. Queen Victoria, a Cunard ship, had 135 passengers who came down with norovirus this week. It's not COVID, although I would say that probably you'll find COVID on every ship, just like you're going to find it in every theme park. You're going to find it in many hotels. But norovirus, well, that's just miserable. And 135 people on the Queen Victoria. So they took the ship in, completely cleaned it down, scrubbed it down, all disinfected, and they took off on the next sailing. We'll see how it goes. Then the same thing happened on a Regent 7 Seas. Now, both of these are way above the average cruise category, cruise pricing. Some would even say the demographics of these two would be higher. But it's not always just washing your hands, because one of my friends, Don Terrace, was on the sailing on the Regent 7 Seas. And he said, you know how diligent I am. I preach it to everybody else. I wash my hands all the time. Even I got sick. So for 7 days to be kind of feeling like you got to stay in your room for 3 of those days, not very much fun. Travel insurance. Okay, well, let me bring you up to date with Alaska. Princess Cruise Line is going to recall our space for Alaska on the 9th. 4 more days away. So I have a couple of couples that I'm going to call and say, are you sure you don't want to go with us? Because the prices have really gone up since we held group space. So, and the airfare was a little bit down with the last couple that I added. So we're excited about that. If you want to travel with us and on our 10th group Alaska adventure, where when we get into port, we're going to charter our own bus and go off the beaten path. I'll take you to several places in a port rather than getting off with a cruise ship excursion and going just to one. But it's going to be quite unique, and we're super excited. We're leaving July 2nd, and we're coming back on July 13th. Actually, we get home on the 14th. But we'd love to have you. And if you need more information, please reach out to me. Let me show you something that I created, because when I came home from California, I did not realize that my foot was broken. Oh, shoot. I think I saved it on the wrong part. Um, anyway, well, it was a very cool backdrop, kind of like this, but it said, Melinda's laid up with her foot broken, and her mom thinks that she needs to stay in a chair so that it will heal and we don't have to have surgery. And so, because of that, Whitney is taking our calls this week, and she is a #1 rock star agent. If you get to work with her, count yourself lucky. She can get it done a lot faster than me. She will ask you all the questions up front, and promise you'll be in good hands. Well, until next week, I will talk to you soon. Reach out to me if I can help you. I appreciate you guys watching. And Leslie Flowers, oh my goodness, I can't believe that you showed up. I just now saw I had a comment. Don't take it for or take it with a grain of salt, because I'm actually on pain meds now. Just kidding. No, I am on pain meds, but I think I've been done pretty good tonight. Check out Leslie Flowers. Since she's here, I'll give her a plug on LinkedIn, because she is going through a book that she wrote, and it is quite phenomenal. I can't wait to catch up. All right, until next week, ciao. And thanks again for checking out weekly travel updates with Action Travel, and provided by Action Travel. See you later. Have a great week.